promoting dialogue.
It's 6 p.m. in Dakar and Accra. Good evening and welcome to Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM and across the world at wadr.org. First, our major stories. Ghana urges stronger efforts against violent extremism in West Africa and Sahel.
This requires defined roles and responsibilities, strong institutional frameworks, and alignment with national priorities.
The Islamic State terrorist group claims responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Niamey's International Airport. Anesthetic providers in Liberia begin a nationwide strike over unpaid salary increment. And Senegalese government officially reacts to sanctions by CAF following incidents during the 2025 AFCON finals.
Everything that can be done will be done. All legal avenues, as well as other possible options, will be explored to seek a reduction of these sanctions.
Please stay with us for details of these stories and more.
On the news, this is Abdullahi Hassan.
Glad to have you join us. Newslink begins in Ghana, where Vice President Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman has called on the political leadership of West Africa and the Sahel to take proactive efforts together against violent extremism plaguing the region. In her opening remark at the two-day high-level consultative conference on regional cooperation and security in Accra, the Vice President stressed the need for timely information sharing, joint analysis, and coordinated responses to win the war against terror. She said security challenges within the region include violent extremism, terrorism, organized crime, cyber threats, and persistent youth unemployment do not respect borders, institutional mandate, or traditional policy silos.
This requires defined roles and responsibilities, strong institutional frameworks, and alignment with national priorities. Without these, cooperation risks remain aspirational rather than operational. The strength of any framework ultimately rests on the capacity, credibility of the institutions charged with delivering them. Even when design policies achieve so much, the coordination will have to be strong in order for mandates also to be very clear. Sustained progress relies on ownership, institutional coherence, and the ability to turn decisions into results on the ground. I encourage you to balance vision and ambition with realism, pragmatism, ensuring recommendations are commensurate with the scale of the challenges we face while remaining grounded in institutional capacity and national context. Our diversity is a strength, but it must be anchored in a shared commitment to regional stability and progress. While the challenges ahead are serious, they are not beyond our ability to handle. With ongoing political dedication, coordinated efforts, and a focus on practical results, our region can strengthen its foundations and move with greater confidence towards peace and prosperity.
Ghana's Vice President, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman speaking there. In Niger, the Islamic State terrorist group has claimed responsibility for Wednesday's attack on the Dori Hamani International Airport in Niamey. The information was circulated through the group's communication network days after it launched a coordinated operation targeting a Nigerian military base in the area. Nigerian authorities, however, have described the incident as an attack by remotely controlled mercenaries. Nigeria's transitional leader, General Abdurrahman Chani, accused France, Benin, and Côte d'Ivoire of involvement in a day after the incident. Without providing details on their number or nationality, Chani said the assailants were repelled by Nigerian forces with support from Russian troops present in the country.
Dori Hamani International Airport was the target of an attempted infiltration by remotely controlled mercenaries. Some were neutralized on the spot, while others were taken out as they panicked. We remind the sponsors of these mercenaries, namely Emmanuel Macron, Patrice Talon, and Alassane Ouattara. They too are about to hear us roar.
General Abdurrahman Chani is national president of Niger.
More stories coming up on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
As a reminder, we stream live at wadr.org and on Facebook and YouTube at WADR. We remain in the Sahel because the Burkinabe Transitional Government on Friday said it has recaptured about 74% of its territory formerly under control by insurgents. This was part of Prime Minister Jean-Emmanuel Drago's report before the Transitional Legislative Assembly. Presenting his report on the state of the nation, the head of government declared that the figure marks a significant acceleration in military operations. Sankle Janko has more.
In Friday's presentation, the Burkinabe Prime Minister said the latest figure represents an increase of more than 3 percentage points from the 72.7% reported in August 2025. Jean-Emmanuel Drago's report confirms a steady upward trend in territorial recovery, up from 70.89% in December 2024 and 69% in 2023. Ouedraogo outlined tangible results on the ground to include the liberation of 442 villages and 73 prefectures. Additionally, 600 schools and several town halls have reopened, while more than 38 health facilities have been restored. The Burkinabe head of government stated that the progress builds on early military gains, including the recapture of Suru Valley, improved security in Japaga and Jibo, and the reopening of the Bogu mine. He said Burkina Faso's progress was anchored on the recruitment of 16,000 soldiers, 2,000 police officers, and nearly 15,000 volunteers for the defense of the homeland. In 2025, the Patriotic Support Fund had mobilized 222 billion CFA francs. For the military authorities, the territorial reconquest is a key indicator of recovery from the jihadist insurgency that has gripped the country for nearly a decade, resulting in millions of displacements and thousands of deaths.
Sankule Janko reporting there. Meanwhile, the African Union Commission is relaunching diplomatic dialogue with the Alliance of Sahel States in a bid to strengthen engagement between the continental body and the three member states. On Thursday, the African Union's new High Representative for Mali and the Sahel, Mamadou Tangara, held discussions with Mali's transitional president, General Assimi Goïta, in Bamako. The meeting formed part of a mission aimed at consolidating dialogue and rebuilding channels of cooperation between the EU and the AES bloc. Imoradet tells us more.
Discussions between the AU envoy and Malian authorities focus particularly on the evolution of the Confederation of Sahel States, which includes Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso. It's also centered around the planned tour of the AU chairperson, Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, to several Sahelian countries aimed at assessing the security situation. The Malian authorities reaffirmed their willingness to continue discussions with African partners as the security and stability of the Sahel remain among the continent's major priorities. Mr. Tangara's visit comes at a time marked by political efforts undertaken by the African Union to resume dialogue with the AES states, which were suspended from the organization's decision-making bodies following the political changes that occurred between 2020 and 2021. Despite this suspension, consultation mechanisms are maintained through the AU Special Representatives, including Ms. Sahel, which is responsible for supporting stabilization initiatives in the region. At the end of Thursday's meeting, the AU Commission High Representative expressed his willingness to work with the governments of Mali and the Sahelian countries to establish a cooperation framework tailored to regional security challenges.
Imoradet reporting. Away from the Sahel, the Ebonyi state government in Nigeria has confirmed the killing of 4 persons following a renewed outbreak of violence between OSIWA and Amasiri communities in the state. The latest incident is linked to a long-standing land dispute between the two communities. The Ebonyi state government has confirmed the killing and said actions will be taken. WADR's Ayitune Sasetu completes the story.
The incident occurred on Thursday when suspected warlords invaded a village in Osu-Eda. Several residents were killed during the attack while others sustained injuries. Some community members were also reportedly abducted, with their whereabouts still unknown. The two communities have been locked in a protracted land dispute which over the years resulted in repeated clashes, loss of lives and destruction of property. Efforts by successive administrations to resolve the conflict have so far failed. Confirming the incident on Friday, the Commissioner for Internal Security, Prince Eta Uka Ude, described the attackers as hoodlums and said the government was informed of the killings on Thursday evening. He called for calm and assured residents that security agencies have been deployed to restore order and arrest those responsible. Meanwhile, a viral video circulating on social media shows houses set ablaze in the affected community as residents appeal to the state government and security agencies for urgent intervention. For WADR, Yechin Sasitu reporting.
Elsewhere, the National Assembly of the Gambia has commenced a 4-day management retreat to improve coordination and strengthen institutional performance. Senior officials are reviewing administrative practices, addressing operational challenges, and planning strategies to make the Assembly more efficient and accountable. The Speaker, Fabakary Tambonjata, said the retreat provides a crucial platform for reflection, strategic planning, and aligning the Assembly's work with its legislative mandate.
The functional review conducted by SMD Management Group forms the cornerstone of this retreat. This, in itself, signals a serious and deliberate response to the structural challenges confronting our institution. As we consider and validate the outcome documents of this functional review, I challenge you to endorse a structure that is fit for purpose and aligned with our technological and institutional ambitions.
The Speaker of the Gambia's National Assembly, Fabakary Tambonjata, speaking there. In Liberia, an ongoing dispute over fair pay for anesthesia providers reached a critical point on Thursday after they suspended services. The decision by these professionals who manage pain and ensure safe medical procedures, especially surgeries, was declared during a protest in Monrovia. Gathered at the headquarters of the Ministry of Health, the anesthetists held placards denouncing the unfair treatment and unfulfilled promises by the government. WADR's Monrovia correspondent Abraham Parker has more.
The group, made out of anesthesia providers from referral hospitals across the country, has suspended services nationwide. President of the Liberia Association of Nurse Anesthetists, Main Dolo, said the group's association followed the government's failure to address long-standing concerns over salary improvements, which have been ongoing since 2024.
The government, through its Ministry of Health and CSA, have been playing game with our salary betterment. The people you see here, they are very few in Liberia. So with all these, and I say, of very trained surgeons, they are just mere doctors. To get all here, they have been a very long and rocky journey. We are also here to seek public attention. Folks in the Ministry of Health are making it to look like a secret. They are making it to look like a political game. They keep covering up.
Another member, Wadr Cannon, said anesthesia providers play a crucial role in Liberia's health system, but receive little recognition from the authorities.
Like for me, I'm from Babulu County. The only referral hospital in Babulu is the Embry Hospital, where I work. I have only an assistant there. And with my services being rendered to them, every time we pursue our care of getting betterment, and we are not getting what we want. For the Liberian people to know the constraint that we are going through, the ministry is now selling us out there.
The umbrella union for almost 100 of anesthetists is calling on citizens to pressure the Minister of Health and push for their recognitions. The action comes amid growing unrest among health workers, with nurses in central Liberia recently protesting salary delays and unfair labor practices. With the Ministry of Health yet to respond, concerns are growing for the strike's impact on patient care and the urgent need for resolution. For Newslink on WADR, Abraham Parker, Monrovia.
You are listening to Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting on 94.9 FM Dakar, Senegal. We're live online at wadr.org. Here's a reminder of our top stories. Ghana urges stronger efforts against violent extremism in West Africa and Sahel. The Islamic State terrorist group claimed responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Niamey's international airport. Anesthetic providers in Liberia begin a nationwide strike over unpaid salary increments. Still ahead in the news, Senegalese government officially reacts to sanctions by CAF following incidents during the 2025 AFCON finals. We also have the guest interview to stay with us.
Fresh and breaking news all the time. Hear it first as the news breaks, only on West Africa Democracy Radio. Newslink continues.
Many thanks for staying with us. Well, let's take you back to Mali, where the Digital Week opened on Thursday at the Bamako International Conference Center. Now in its third edition, the event brings together Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso under the theme of e-governance in the age of artificial intelligence with a focus on culture. Over 3 days, policymakers and experts will discuss digital sovereignty and the modernization of public services. Francis Boniface has won this report.
At the center of discussions was the modernization of public administration through digital technology and artificial intelligence, as Malian authorities seek to accelerate the digitalization of government services. Alhamdou Ian is Mali's Minister of Communication.
I call on the government to accelerate the modernization of public administration and the digitalization of public services so that every Malian can access essential services more easily, more quickly, and more efficiently. E-governance must deliver tangible results, shorter queues, simplified procedures, improved traceability and transparency, stronger action against fraud, and better quality of public service delivery.
Held under the theme E-Government in the Age of Artificial Intelligence, Opportunities and Challenges for Culture, the meeting also aims to promote cultural heritage and strengthen the use of national languages.
I welcomed the emphasis placed on culture and artistic creation in this edition. Digital tools can help promote our heritage, disseminate our works, and showcase our talents. But there is also a need to protect rights, fight counterfeiting, and build economic models that fairly compensate creators.
The event also featured participants from Niger and Burkina Faso. The three countries of the Confederation of Sahel States say they want to deepen cooperation to build a sovereign digital space. The Digital Week runs until Saturday, featuring panel discussions and exchanges among sector stakeholders.
A report by WADR's Bamako correspondent Aliyu Cham and voiced in our studios by Francis Boniface.
Politics,
Analysis on major news,
social matters, and all. This is A Guest.
The guest interview this evening focuses on Niger, where authorities say a mercenary attack was behind the exchange of gunfire at the Niamey International Airport. Niger's transitional leader, General Abdurrahman Chani, had accused France, Benin, and Côte d'Ivoire of involvement. However, the Islamic State terrorist network, hours ago, via its propaganda channel, claimed responsibility for the attack. Now, the latest development raises concerns about the contrasting claims by Niamey and the terrorist network, which was forced the reaction of El Haj Sam Seyon, a security expert. Seyon from the start blamed insurgents for the Wednesday attack on the Niamey International Airport, based on his assessment on the existing operational pattern of the network.
This is clearly an internal operation done by these terrorist groups that are operating in the region. You know, we work in the region for the past several years, and we label this group as a terrorist organization. Our international counterparts, the French, the Americans, and all of the European nations. That's why the French were stationed there. Even the presence of the French and their operational capacity did not allow these guys to come as far as they are.
What impact could these accusations have on Niger's already strained relations with its neighbors, including these countries that Niger's transitional president is accusing?
It will further isolate Niger than ever before. If you see what we heard from Niger happening on Wednesday, almost different aircrafts that will fly into Niger, that will fly their international airspace. Trust me, this aircraft will evaluate the security situation. Nobody wants to fly aircraft in Niger right now, knowing that the country is fragile. At any moment, at any point in time, there can be gunfire, there can be attempt by the jihadi or beside the jihadi themselves. Even people within the Niger military are cooperating with people outside. So these are serious threats in Niger right now. Accusation against this country will not do Niger a favor. It will never reduce the security threat. It will further exacerbate the already fragile security situation in Niamey.
With the military leader in Niger, Chiani, vowing retaliation, how real is the risk of further military or proxy escalation in the region, and who stands to benefit most from rising tensions?
Well, Niger's threat of retaliation is a bluff. Niger already has its fill with their own security military situation that they cannot control. They don't have the military capacity, they don't have the ability, they don't have the willpower to go for any of these country needs. President Tihani needs to realize that his military is already confronted from various fronts. Even the military base that was being used by the Americans, that military base is the bigger military base that was infiltrated. So let it know that by threatening other countries will not solve the Niger security situation. They should be focused. All of these accusations will find evidence. Accusing other countries of involvement in the threat in your country is not the solution.
With no evidence yet to be presented by the Nigerian government, what do you think would be the reaction of the presidents accused, President Macron, President Ouattara, and President Patrice Talon?
These heretics are not going to waste their time responding to Niger or taking Niger threat seriously. They know that Niger is already filled with different security situations, particularly the fragile military situation in the country. When you have this kind of military government in Niger that are arresting people, prosecuting people, killing people because of suspicions or believing that they want to overthrow President Abdulrahman Chani, it further exacerbates the problem with our neighbors.
El Haj Sam Seyon is a security expert. In the sporting world, the Senegalese government has reacted to sanctions imposed by the Confederation of African Football CAF on national team coach Pape Thiaw and two players, Eliman Ndiaye and Ismail Assar. The three were handed multi-match suspensions and heavy financial fines following incident during the Africa Cup of Nations final in Morocco, which pitted Senegal against the host nation. In response, the Ministry of Sport says it will launch an administrative appeal in coordination with the Senegalese Football Federation (SFF) to contest these sanctions. Senegal's Minister of Sport, Hadi Jane Guy, spoke on the matter.
Regarding the CAF sanctions imposed on the coach, we have already discussed the matter with the President of the Federation. Everything that can be done will be done. All legal avenues, as well as other possible options, will be explored to seek a reduction of these sanctions. As it stands, the coach will be barred from sitting on the bench for 5 CAF matches, which is already excessive. In addition, a financial fine has been imposed. I believe this is not in the best interest of our team to have its coach absent from the bench for 5 CAF matches, on top of a monetary penalty. As I said earlier, the coach acted as a Senegalese should and behaved like a true patriot. For our part, as public authorities entrusted with a service mission and alongside the Senegalese Football Federation, we will spare no efforts to stand by him. He can be fully reassured of our support.
Hadi Jenga is Senegal's Minister of Sport. Meanwhile, a public fundraising campaign was launched online by Senegalese supporters to show solidarity with Pape Thiaw, raising 55 million CFA francs. The coach has since thanked the Senegalese people for their support, but urged that the funds be redirected to more urgent causes to help those in real need. The gesture has further strengthened his public image. Attention now turns to match day 4 of the CAF Champions League, scheduled for Friday and Saturday. For today, January 30, at 7 p.m., you have Al Hilal versus Mamelodi Sundown. And tomorrow, Saturday, January 31, at 1 p.m., you have Young Africans versus Al Ahly. At 4 p.m., Petro Luandas versus Stade Malien. And at 7 p.m., Asfar versus JS Kabile. Full schedule for match day 4 of the CAF Confederation is available on the CAF website. And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Newslink here on West Africa Democracy Radio, broadcasting from Dakar, Senegal. We are live online at wadr.org. Special thanks to you for listening, and many thanks to Ismaila Kamara and Maujo Juf for the technical assistance. Do interact with us via social media platforms, X, Instagram, and Facebook at WADR English. I'm Abdullahi Hassan. Good evening.
And many thanks to you for listening to Newslink via Hot 104.3 FM, New Me FM 94.0,
Hilltop Radio 104.7 FM,
and Veritas Radio 102.9 in Banjul, the Gambia. We also appreciate our listeners in Liberia via Alternative Youth Radio 98.9 FM, Lofa County,
Radio Kagama 94.5 FM, Nibe County, DCN Radio 91.3 FM, Riverside County, Wakat FM Radio, Banga, Liberia, Radio Gulf FM 91.3 Sierra Leone in Nigeria, and Love 104.5 FM Abuja.
For you listening via Radio Pad 95.1 Damango, Savannah region, and on Royals FM 104.7 Wenchi, Ghana, we say a big thank you. Remember, West Africa Democracy Radio is all about you, your views, and your